Good morning, everyone. I'm Janet Harlier, your host for Faith in an Ever Changing World Encouragement and Hope Faith Story. And I am so pleased to have with me today Tania Joy Gibson. Hi, Tania.
Hello.
Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. It's so good to see you
Yes.
today.
Yeah, absolutely. My honor. Tanya is an actress, singer, and performer. And some of the things you may not know about her that's not on the post there for you to see. She, of course, is host of Beauty for Ashes, but she was Miss Illinois in 1996 and competed at the Miss America pageant in Atlantic City. She was also Miss Illinois Teen and Miss America Teen at the age of 16. So we have a beauty queen with us as well. She has been singing since she was 3 years old and has performed on numerous stages across the country. So welcome again, Tanya Joy. Yes.
Thank you.
And when we return, right after our intro, we will be hearing Tanya Joy's faith story. So stay with us. And welcome back. And Tanya Joy, if you will, please share, or what is your faith story?
This is going to be fun to share. First, thank you so much for having me on your show. I love talking about what God has done in my life.
Absolutely.
And so it's such an honor. I love doing my show and we always bring Christ in, but of course, we're not always talking about this aspect of it. So I love whenever I have this
Right.
opportunity. So as you mentioned, I was Miss Illinois and Miss Teen and grew up singing and performing. I grew up in a wonderful family with two Christian parents and a
Mm,
sister,
me
and
too.
a
Yeah.
great legacy in our family line of believers, and always dreamt that I would be singing and traveling the world. That was what I
Yeah.
thought. And when I was actually at Miss America, it was really a turning point. I was actually disqualified at Miss America um, because of my faith and my beliefs, which we found out
Oh,
later. So it was interesting. I was only 19. And so at that age, I didn't understand kind of this cancel culture the way we see it
right.
now. But I
Yeah.
experienced it. And then I went on and I thought, well, I need to find something else to do, right? Because at the time,
That's right.
that was going to be the open door. And
Yeah.
I went ahead, I got married, I had children, and then life just it got hard. I ended up going through a divorce, ended up being a single mom, having to,
Mm,
get a job. I ended up putting myself through college while being
mm,
a full-time mom and dad, and then,
yeah.
a full-time employee.
Mm,
And I went through, I would say, a lot of years. I mean, gosh, probably 20 years,
ooh,
sadly, being discouraged and being
yeah.
really angry at God for what had
Yeah.
happened. Because now, it's interesting. We get angry with the Lord so quick, but we forget that we make our free choices. And
Yeah.
it took me a long time. I'm a slow learner. Took me a long time to get to a place where enough had happened. My some of the little
Yeah.
highlights, and I like to share this because I think it helps people relate. Sometimes I think people will see me or they think, oh, she did pageants, and they think there's
Yeah.
nothing relatable.
Yeah.
I have lived a life that could have been on Jerry Springer. I mean, it's crazy. My adult life was so opposite of anything I ever thought it would be.
Wow.
Um, the divorce was, difficult. My son was almost killed at the age of 7. He's
Oh my.
Olympic trained or
Oh,
national, whatever you want to call it, ski jumper. He's been
yeah.
around the world ski jumping.
Um,
He's phenomenal. But he was almost killed at 7. And then we went through the divorce. My I have an oldest daughter who's a prodigal, and doesn't talk to us, and doesn't want anything to do with the Lord or anything like that. And
mm,
and the marriage, I've had more than one marriage, and that was very, as a believer, that was devastating to go through
mm,
that. I've been through abuse and
mm,
have struggled. And I only say those things because I know that there are so many women and men, but I really love ministering to women. There's a lot of women who have gone through this or are going through that, who have
Yes.
been mishandled, have been mistreated.
Hmm.
And when you're a believer, it's very hard to keep your faith during that. It's very hard because you want to go, Lord, how could you let this happen to me? Or
Yeah.
where were you in these moments? Or
Hmm.
what, I read your word, but why am I not experiencing it? And I think some of that we may or may not know the answers to, but a lot of it is, what are we doing? What are our choices? And I got to a
Yeah.
place where I realized I was sowing things without realizing it, and I was reaping the consequences of those things. So whether, the word says that there's life and death in the power of the tongue. And
Right.
I would complain and I would say, well, my life's not going to get better. Look at all is that victim mentality. And about 3 years ago, the Lord started very gently and quietly speaking to me and really challenged me to get in the Word every single day. And I mean, I've been saved since I was 3, but I didn't get in the Bible every single day.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I started that, and it shifted things. I mean, just that one simple thing of opening the Word and reading the Word. I read the whole, like from start to end. I started going through the Bible just chronologically,
Yeah.
and I started to see my life change. And I
Mm.
started to see I had suffered from anxiety for many, many years. I was on, antidepressants,
Yeah.
and I started to see that getting better. And I actually was able to go off the medicine,
I
Now
love that. That's awesome.
there's still days, of course, that is
Yeah.
stressful, but, the Lord is so faithful, and the
Yes.
more that we get in the Word,
Yeah.
the Word is God, the Word was God, this is
Hmm.
Him, this is His heart. The more we can get to know Him
Yeah.
and know His heart, the
Hmm.
more our faith can start increasing. It's kind of
Exactly.
that double edge, like, you can't create faith without kind of walking through things
Right.
that challenge the
Right.
faith. It's a
Yes.
very interesting dichotomy there,
Yeah.
Um, but, the word says, I love Hebrews 11:1, that faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain, absolutely sure of the things we
Absolutely.
cannot
Yes.
see. Well, that's difficult, especially like the name of your show, being in an ever-changing world. Our
Yes.
world is changing at lightning speed right now.
Absolutely. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It sometimes feels like it's spinning out of
Unbelievable.
control.
Mhm.
And but the word says faith is being certain of what we don't see. So therefore, we have to get it in the presence of God and see it from his
Yes.
perspective. We have to pray from that perspective. We have
Mhm.
to sit at his right hand, like it says in the in Hebrews, that we're supposed that's where we're seated as believers. And we have
Mhm.
to sit there and look at things from that perspective, because that will increase our faith, because we'll start to see from
Right.
his eyes.
Yeah.
And that's what can transform this world. It's what transformed my life.
Mhm.
um I used to think, oh, I really struggle in faith, like that I was a doubter, that was
Yeah.
kind of what I thought of myself. And pushing through, it's hard work. It's hard
It
work.
is hard work. It
It
is.
it's
It's
like,
an everyday step that we need to take and intentionally
that's right.
take.
That's right. And we only have to worry about today. We don't have to worry about tomorrow. God says he
That's right.
promises he will provide all of our
Yeah.
need today, what we need. He's
Yeah.
got. And now he may provide something today that's going to provide 6 months down the road. We don't
Right.
know that, but that's how
That's right.
he works. He is
Yeah.
he's so kind and such a good
Mhm.
good God. And I know for me, it took me really hitting rock bottom, to really go, Lord, what am I missing? What am I? And I turned it inwards and I said, what have I done that I'm not aware of? I don't care what it is or how hard it is. Please help me dig in and pull those roots out so that I
Yeah.
can move forward and walk in an abundant life and in the life he wants us. He wants us to live and be
Yes, he
free.
does.
He
Mhm.
died for this purpose.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's a little bit of the journey that has led me down, really building my faith, and he's built it. I mean, I would say the Lord's built my faith. I don't know if I've done anything other than be obedient. And you said the word surrender. I love
Yes.
that word. We have
Yes.
to
Me
surrender.
too. Yep. Surrender every day. and sometimes all during the day.
That's
Just
right.
being intentional about that, and growing our relationship with
Yes.
Him, and is so important. And as I was saying off camera a while ago, the older I get, the more important that becomes to me, and the closer I feel to Him.
Yeah. I
Tanya
agree.
Joy, yes, absolutely. Tanya Joy, thank you so much for sharing this with us, because I know that there are going to be women out there who can relate
Yeah.
to all of what you have said. And so your story is going to resonate with women who are going through, maybe right now,
Right.
going through what you have been through. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. And if you would, just in about a minute, if you could just answer one thing, what's one thing that we can hold on to that will uh, to our faith? What's one thing we can do to hold on to our faith in this ever changing world we live in?
I would say make sure you're in relationship with the Lord.
Yes,
He's here, he's right here, he's ever present at all times. And so when you feel doubt, talk to him. He's a friend, he's a brother. I've found him to be a husband and a mate.
absolutely.
And so, but that only comes from relationship. That comes from us actually talking, actually having conversation with the Lord and telling him, I'm scared about this. Telling
Yes,
him, what do I do with this? Because he will not leave or forsake his bride. And so he
that's
will
right.
answer and he will provide with everything that you need.
Yes, and we can believe and we can count on him. We just need to keep trusting him.
That's right.
Yeah. And you've got a comment here.
Oh,
Go, Tanya. Brad, thank you very much for watching and for commenting. Thank you.
that's
And
awesome.
yeah, uh, and we just want to thank you all for watching. Thank you, Tanya Joy, for being my guest today, and for sharing your faith story.
Oh,
And
thank you so much. Thanks
yes,
for having me on. I can't wait to share this with my audience so they
oh,
can learn about you as well.
yes, thank you. And so we do want to let's see. Let me get Brad. There we go, Brad. And we do want to thank Creative Motion Network and also Abundant Television Network, two great networks that have programming for your family and all of us. And also, you can catch Faith in an Ever Changing World on there as well. Thank you so much. Have faith and look up, friends, where our help comes from. God bless. Bye.